Howdy, everybody. Coming to you recorded from the 34135 studios. That would be Bonita Springs, Florida. I realize it's a little dark out here. I got my little sun protection here. And we're going to tell you about another incident. And I love DSP, as you can tell from previous videos. But I'm going to tell you two little kind of like snafus that happened during this one incident, this one case, and I'm going to try and remember it to the best of my recollection. I know I got 90% of it, accurate and stuff like that. But there was once again, it was the early, when I say early, it's probably like mid 80s, 86, 87-ish. I worked with a county police dispatcher. His name was Rod. I'm not going to mention his last name. But he had been a Marine, and he and I were really tight. Unfortunately, when he came back from Vietnam, he lost his leg from the knee down in a motorcycle accident. So I might come back and do some more stories about Rod. He was a pretty funny dude. And fortunately, we were pretty tight. So we did hang out and party together a couple times, but not like on a regular basis. But we were good work friends, and we respected each other. And so he loved his wife dearly, like really, like madly in love. So that was really cool to see. So there was this case that a lot of agencies were working on. They nicknamed the bandit the Hooded Bandit. So the Hooded Bandit, what he was doing was, I don't know if you remember, how many people are as old as me, like older than dirt, but in the old days, there was a famous, infamous, probably is a better word to use, hooded bandit with sunglasses on that was known as the Unabomber. Well, this was kind of like similar due to the apparel. The person would wear like a gray hooded sweatshirt, sunglasses, but they were robbing a lot of convenience stores at gunpoint. So this incident is embarrassing, but I'm going to tell you the truth. As much as I love DSP, they kind of screwed this one up a little bit in a couple ways, to be honest with you. And there was, I wish I could paint the picture for you, and it's hard to do it in reverse image. There's a little strip center, right? So it kind of comes like this and then tapers off like this on the end. And the end unit was some type of convenience store. I forget it was called. Something wants to tell me it's Cumberland Farms back in the day. I don't remember the name of it, but it was something like that. Just your little basic convenience store. You go in and get your coffee, your Hostess, treats and all that stuff. But so next door in a separate detached building was some bar. I forget. I want to say it was called Stan's, but I don't remember the name, to be honest with you. I've been away from that area for a long time. So I'll never forget, this was wintertime, and they'd had quite a few of these armed robberies occurring. So I know it was cold on this one particular night. So these detectives were doing a stakeout. There was like, I forget the exact amount, like 4 or 5 detectives sitting in like a little conversion van that was just made it look like they were just one of the, the vehicles there to be attending in the bar. And so they were in surveillance on that end unit. But right, like I said before, you have, man, I wish I could do this correctly. It was like the end unit was here, and then there was like approximately like a 30-degree angle. It might have been a little bit more, like less, 25-degree, whatever. The rest of the little strip center veered off to the left. And there was a sub shop. I'm trying to remember, it was 1 or 2 doors down. I don't remember exactly, but it was real close to the convenience store that they had been staking out. So they're all in there. It's colder than heck. They don't have the vehicle running because, the exhaust fumes would be a, giveaway and stuff like that. So they're in there. They're all freezing and trying to do surveillance. And I forget why they thought that was going to be a target, but maybe there was like a pattern. I forget exactly why they were tipped off to that. That could be the target location. Well, on this particular night, with the 4 detectives in the van, they didn't have another vehicle. They were all jammed in one vehicle. So that was error like number 1. Even though I know some people in that van, it was kind of like a major screw up. And it, Rod made it an issue because he was, his wife was involved in this a little bit later. So she's working a couple doors down at the sub shop or whatever it was. And guy comes in there. He came from the other direction, not from where they were parked. Comes from around the corner, goes in there, robs her at gunpoint, and I guess made some threatening remarks, takes off, goes the other direction, and the detectives don't even know this robbery is occurring until she calls 911. I don't remember if Rod was working that night and he was there to, but I know he was, I remember him being very, very livid about that and made a big stink about it. I probably would have done the same if it had been my wife. But usually DSP is really, really on top of their game, and the county police are a little bit not as, when I say the county police of Newcastle County at that time, they were always trying to be like DSP, and they were always, but anyway, so enough of that. I mean, DSP screwed up. So all these, the hooded bandit kept striking, hitting all these convenience stores, and that was their best opportunity to catch him in the act. And then, so I have a friend, I'm going to just call him Mike, Corporal Mike. I'm not going to put anybody's dirt out on the street or anything like that, but he worked polygraph. He was a polygraph investigator. He was a really nice guy. We hung out together, quite often and stuff like that. Well, through another friend of mine, another trooper, Matt, who I went crabbing with, he was also good friends with Corporal Mike. And he was telling me about, they had a suspect that they had been, had on the polygraph. And that, like, he was off the charts, like, allegedly guilty due to his, his activity on the readings. So this goes on for a while, and the corporal was like, "Yeah, this is our guy. This is the guy. This is the guy. This is the guy." Come to find out, it wasn't the guy. I'm not going to lie to you. I forget how it all transpired later. Somebody ended up getting caught, looked similar or whatever. I don't know why the guy didn't do too well on the polygraph or whatever, but it wasn't the guy that they thought was the person of interest, is the new word in today's times. So that was kind of like two big pieces of humble pie that they kind of had to own. Fortunately, nobody ever did get injured or harmed, but it was an ongoing problem that did cost a lot of the agencies a lot of money. DSP had the best opportunity to make the apprehension during the crime. It could have been a really good thing, but it kind of backfired. Unfortunately, law enforcement is not always 100% accurate. They had another vehicle on the other side. perhaps it could have prevented the bandit from stopping at that location. He probably just would have gone down the road and hit another place. So it's all how you look at it. For the most part, he had been hitting only the convenience stores, but on this particular night, he hit the sandwich shop a couple doors down, whatever it was. So that's kind of embarrassing for me to share that with you, but hey, that's the truth. That really happened. And there was a couple troopers are highly, highly respected, and this goes to the point of the polygraph examinations back in that era. I know that it's way highly more sophisticated, probably more accurate now, but a lot of what they would do is more like controlled questions. They try and get you like, is your name John Doe? They try and ask you questions to get a consistent pattern of the truth. Then they try and hit you with a zinger where you get nervous, and then all of a sudden you look, the chart's looking like an EKG or something like that. So I know that's operated a little bit differently nowadays, but there was a couple troopers I highly respected that were really excellent troopers, 100% good, clean cops, hard working. And a couple of them told me, they said, no, if they ordered me to take a polygraph, I would never do it, because they just don't feel that it was that accurate. It's on the interpretation is the word I'm looking for, of the examiner. So they may not always be 100% on their game, or it may be how the question was phrased or what have you. I know what they would do. I don't know how that's changed in time, but basically they would put you in a little room. It was always just the examiner, the person being examined, and you're in like a little room. I think they check your blood pressure, your sweat activity, and your pulse or something. I forget I think there's like 3 criteria they were doing back then. And basically they like to put you in like a neutral colored room. Like I said, neutral, like white, or for some reason I want to say pink. I think it was just like a white. They don't want you to focus on a bunch of different objects and distract you. They pretty much want you to focus on the questions and your answers. So anyway, that's the real deal, folks. Usually DSP is pretty much spot on. At least they were back in the day. I haven't lived up there for a long time. Haven't really had a lot of contact, other than little chit chats here and there. So I don't know. I know when I worked there, they were one of the most highly respected agencies in the country, even though they were a small state. So I'm going to leave you with this final closing message. I hope if I'm still vertical, I'm going to come back and talk to you about the Gentleman Bandit. That was a really interesting case from a long time ago, and that was another case that was really, really interesting. Very, very high profile case back then, where there wasn't a whole lot of like big like social media or anything like that, or I don't remember even USA Today was around back then, but I know it was a big high profile case. So I thank you guys for listening. I'll talk to you again sometime soon. And remember, story time, it's just shooting the truth when I can, the best I can remember it. So I hope you enjoyed that episode. We're going to move on to the 9-0. Next time we're coming to you.